Still was trying to call me. Okay. Can we? Okay. I can see chats now. Hallelujah. Okay. All right. So do I have to tell my story again? Oh, hi. Welcome. I'm sorry, sis. Please join again. Hi, sis. Oh, my sisters are here. Okay, you can hear me now. Give the Lord a wiper. Hallelujah. Welcome. Welcome to the Junior Series. Thank you for joining us. My name is Deshala Shoson, and I'm so appreciative that you are here, and we can have this conversation. You're in for a loaded time, a time of learning and wisdom, and should we go to church a little bit? You're here to be blessed, but more importantly, you're here to be fortified, okay? Be fortified to learn from someone who is a clear example of persistence and hi sis, thank you. Persistence and growth and success, and I know her personally, so she's a symbol of kindness as well. But in the field of business, she's outstanding, and she has done so much, and she has staying power. She has been consistent over the years, building her business, building her brand, raising an amazing family, and I think that is fantastic. And I've asked her, and she has so kindly accepted to speak with us at this time. So why are we here? I believe that when you take actions based on systems, your results are predictable rather than whatever alternative, because principles don't respect people. Principles respect themselves. If you jump up, I was saying earlier, if you jump up, then the law of gravity, the principle of gravity guarantees that you come down. Now, if you can suspend that principle and then you can teach another person, if the person does what you did, then the person can get the result that you got. And so I believe that genius holds clues. I believe that genius leaves clues, and it is to our benefit that some people that walk among us have been able to excel in different fields of endeavor. And if we will humble ourselves and listen to them and try what they've tried, then there's a chance, there's a possibility that we'll get the exact results or do it even better. But it's a good stepping stone, standing on the shoulders of giants, so that you can see further ahead, literally. So I'm just going to hold on for a minute for her to join us, and we can get this show on the road. I was talking about when you're driving in pitch darkness earlier, and if you're driving that car, you can't see much farther than your headlamps will take you, which is maybe about a meter, max 2 meters. But you trust that the road exists, and then you continue to follow it. And as you move, the light gets brighter, the road gets more illuminated. I was telling my husband this morning that motivation doesn't come before you start. A lot of people feel that when they hear something, they'll get motivated and they would get results. No, you start and then motivation comes. When you begin to see those little bits of glimpses of results, then you will get motivated to do even more. All right, she's here. Are you excited? If this was a physical event, I would have somebody come and say, clap, until she can hear you from the car park, right? So she's here. I'm excited to have her, and I am going to be bringing her on right now. All right.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you. And you?
Yeah, Wapa.
Yes, I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sis. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for coming on the Junior series. I really do appreciate it. We all do. They can't tell you, but on everybody's behalf, we're very grateful for your time.
I'm delighted to be here. Very delighted to be here.
Thank you, sis. You have a super fan in the house. Her name is Sandra.
Oh, really?
She
Sandra,
likes you.
how are you?
Oh, my goodness. Sandra, I've made the introduction. You can take it from there. So I've made the introduction now. I'll introduce you to her. Thank you so much, sis. So please, I like it. Yes, ma'am. I like to let my guests introduce themselves because I think you're the only one who can do justice to that. So I'm going to ask you to please introduce yourself to us. Like we don't know you.
Okay, like you don't know me. Okay. I am delighted to be here first and foremost, and I'm very glad to have been invited onto the show. And I love sharing my story because I did start my business at the age of 40. So I am Temilola Adepetun. I started my career in oil and gas, and I worked in oil and gas for 14 years. Then after 14 years, I went through some changes. I would say, I had an epiphany, had an idea, and there were some other things going on in my life. And then I turned 40, and I just thought, a fool at 40 is a fool forever. What should we do? And so that's how I evolved and I resigned from my job in the oil and gas company, and I started my own business. My business now is our. Then it was mine because there were just two of us. We opened our doors to the public on September 9th, 2000. And I'm proud to say we're the one-stop school shop, the pioneer one-stop school shop in Nigeria at the time. And then at the time it was called the School Kits Shop. That's kids, not kids. Some people think it's kids. The School Kits Shop, and we set out to provide everything for school: shoes, bags, uniforms, anything you could think of, stationery, boarding house items, even up to the raincoat and the rain boots or hoe and cutlass or swimwear, underwear, pajamas that you needed to wear for boarding house. So that's how we started, and then we evolved into a wholesale company. Well, we now opened like a wholesale branch about 5-6 years down the line, and that was in response to customers schools who wanted us to just kits for them, and then we diversified. So I don't know whether I should stop there or continue.
Oh, please, our minds are blown already, so you might as well blow it a little further,
Okay, so we started wholesale, like I said, in 2006, and sometime in 2007, I just thought, you know what, we don't really have, with my training in the oil and gas industry, I knew that, I'm a process person. I still am a process person. So I knew that we needed to carve out our vision and mission and all that. So we had our first staff retreat in 2007, and we carved that out. By this time, we had just 2 branches. The following year, we opened our 3rd branch in Ikota. Then a couple of years down the line, we now thought, no, let's have our head office, because I was now running from pillar to post. I'll go to the shop on the island, then I'll go to the one in Ikeja. In the same day, then I started alternating that I'll do island today, mainland tomorrow. Then I thought, you know what, this is not working. You need an office. Then we needed processes. We needed to have an accountant, HR, and admin, and so on and so forth. So we opened our first head office in 2010, actually. We had paid for it in 2009. And thereafter, we started taking part in exhibitions and all that. I'll come to that later. Exhibitions and all that. We had gone to Abuja several times. You noticed that from my Ikeja store, a lot of people were coming in from Abuja to buy things. So we said that, you know what, let's go to Abuja. So we had a pilot fair. We asked, there's a company called Educational Resource in Abuja, and they had organized several fairs that we had attended. So we asked them to organize one for us. And so that was the test case. And we drove 2 vans, took a whole lot of staff, and then we experimented, and it was fantastic. So the next thing, we opened in Abuja in 2012. That was our first store. And from then on, we started doing a lot of things. But after that 2012, I now realized that, you know what, this company has gone beyond me. So the best thing is to get in a consultant to come and look at all our structures, do a proper organizational restructure. So we did that. And then they recommended that we should have a COO, a Chief Operations Officer. And you have to also know when you come to the end of yourself. So I just thought, you know what, we need younger blood here. And of course, this is more than 10 years down the line, which meant I was 52. so we got a COO, and I will tell you that that's one of the best decisions of my life. Of course, my first reaction was, a COO, then what will I be doing? They said, don't worry, you'll be doing a lot more. You'll be doing all the strategy, and the CEO will be in charge of all the operations and will be very hands-on. And of course, I knew that, yes, I couldn't get to everywhere. And even you know from things like, oh, you don't have children at that age, and then you can't even start picking styles of shoes and sandals that you want to buy and things like that. And so that's how the company has grown. And with that came a lot more dynamism. And then we started getting bigger. We started growing organically. And then we started a garment manufacturing factory, which had been a dream that I had had. But because I didn't know anything about production, I just thought, you know what, let Sleeping Dogs lie, outsource whatever you need to outsource. But our COO has expertise in fashion and in the fashion field. So he now, when we started stumbling on some challenges and all that with our supply chain, he now said, you know what, I think we should start. So we grew it organically, and we started in 2016. But before that, we had realized we had been doing contract manufacture from 2009, and we had established our own brand, and we were producing then out of Turkey, Europe, and then we started trying other countries, to get the best price and the best quality for our own brand. So our brand has been established since 2009, even though I produced the labels in faith in 2007, but I didn't find a company to produce, make the kind of quality that we wanted. So I waited till 2009 when another opportunity presented itself. And that's when we started. And of course, when our CEO came, I stopped doing all those tedious trips when I come back from abroad. I won't be able to come downstairs for like 2 days. So he took that over, and he took it to another level, and then in addition to that, so now we have wholesale, retail, garment manufacturing. In addition to that, in 2018, different opportunities came to us. And because we have a younger management team, because we have a GM commercial, we have a finance controller, we have head of educational supplies and garments, and some opportunities came to be distributorships of international brands. So I'm proud to say that we're the distributor for Casio calculators in Nigeria through their Middle East office. And then we are also a distributor for balloons. It's called Qualitex Balloons. Those in the events planning industry will know, and entertainment industry will know more about that. So, but that's solely on wholesale basis, and that's like the distributorship arm of our business. Another opportunity presented itself in terms of humanitarian aid contracts. And like I said, when you have younger people, they're more, ideas flow, and then they can balance the risk, and and then we all talk about it. So they are the ones who get all these opportunities, and the ones that nobody's going to come and talk to me with all my gray hair with. so at the end of the day, we went into, so we have another special business unit that's dedicated to humanitarian AIDS relief supplies. So we supply humanitarian aid materials to UNICEF, to UNESCO, Save the Child, Maison de Frontier, and things like that. So we actually have 2 offices, liaison offices, one in Damaturu, and then one in Borno State in Maiduguri, dedicated to that. But that's not my doing, it's my team. is our entire team.
Wow.
So that's what it is.
See, I don't know what to say. I knew a bit of this, but I didn't know the full scope. I am so, oh wow, mind blown. Shay, Sandra, your minds are blown like that. Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And Spadeka is saying your gray hair signifies unusual wisdom. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm so excited the work that you've been able to do and the risk that you took at 40. A lot of people won't think of reinventing themselves at 40. And 40, when you were 40 was so long ago. Maybe if you did something like that now, it'd be like, well, it's all right. But then it must have been like the wildest idea.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? You know, it's not, this is job security. Stay here,
Yeah.
retire. But then we will be experiencing the awesomeness that you built through originally School Kits. Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who has joined us while our guest was speaking. Welcome to the conversation. Thank you for joining us on the Genius series today. My name is Deshola Shosom, and I'm so glad that you're here. So, let's start with our questions. First of all, okay, you've kind of talked about it a little, but how did you know? Why did you settle with what you're doing? How did you find that this was your passion, this line of work, this line of business? How did you stay there? What were the things that made you go like, okay, I've tried this and I'm going to keep at it. I'm not going to try any other thing.
Well, in the first place, the way the business idea came was because my first son, Damola, was going to boarding school, and I tried my hardest to shop for him. I was a working mother, starting work at 7:30, closing at 5 or 6 in VI, living in Surulere. So it took me literally 4 to 5 weekends to go visit this market and get some items, visit another market. So I just thought, life shouldn't be so difficult. Why isn't there a one-stop school store? Then I remembered back in the day when I went to England for my A-levels. My school just told me then that, go to John Lewis's on Oxford Street. Just mention that you are from so school. They have all your uniforms and everything you need there. And that was when I was 17. And I just had a flashback to that time. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice to create something like that in Nigeria? And so that's why, that's what gave me the first idea. I wrote my business plan and all that. But coming to what made me, first of all, it's solving a problem. If you look at the sustainable development goals, we all want to solve a problem or the other. So the problem was, how do working mothers survive, making sure that they buy everything that their children need for school, even project materials, sportswear, inter-house sportswear, last-minute supplies, shoes, socks, things that can get lost, things that you can buy, that your child will tell you on the way to school or midnight the night before they require it. So it was solving a problem. And then one of the things I also knew was that, okay, if you want to start a business, now look at it, is it going to be sustainable? Yes, children will be born every day by the special grace of God, and children will go to schools, and there are schools popping up everywhere in every state, nationwide, all over the world. So I knew that it was something, if you do something related to children, something related to school, something related to education, it becomes then like an essential commodity, so to speak. And so when I started doing that, and I even saw the reactions of some parents will just come, when I'm on the shop floor, because I like being on the shop floor, they say, are you the owner of this business? Some of them will just hug me and say, you've made life so easy for me, So that is very gratifying, because you know that you can serve many generations. My first set of customers now have started coming to shop for their children. My first set of, because we started, the business is now 21, going on 22. So our first set of customers, they have 4 or 5 year olds. So they are coming to buy lunchbox, food flasks, and things like that.
Generational business.
Yes, generational business. So that was just it.
Wow. So it was obvious that it was going to be self-sustaining because the
Yes.
need would always be
The
there.
need would always
Like
be
you
there.
said, children would be born and schools.
Yes.
And then you found you were able to meet a need, and you felt good about that, helping mothers like yourself
Yes.
sort out that issue. Fantastic.
Yes.
All right. Sis, I want you to share with us your daily routine. Do you have you perfected a system that puts you in this state of unusual creativity and productivity, and that you keep having these great ideas and you're able to cope with your schedule? Because I have a decent idea. I'm sure I don't know the full scope again, but I have a decent idea of what your schedule is like on a weekly, on a daily basis. So what is that routine that helps you achieve all these things and helps you be so efficient and effective at what you do?
First and foremost, let me say it's huge teamwork. There's teamwork across the way. We have, we have heads of departments, we have heads of divisions, we have GMs, and so it's a lot of teamwork. So I can say that my day-to-day involvement is there, but it's not as critical to the running of the business. The business can pretty much run without me as it is. So my daily routine, if you asked me this question 12 years ago or thereabouts, I'll tell you that, I have to travel abroad every 3 months. And then I have to do a lot, so much at a time before I travel. And then I have to walk the streets of whichever country I'm going to day in, day out, and face my laptop at night to send reports back to Nigeria, and to even, confer with my team back in Nigeria in terms of the prices, in terms of styles and things and stuff. But now it's pretty much, the system we have in place is that I'm the managing director, then the DMD, our COO has now become DMD, and he's also a shareholder, so he's a part owner. And so he does most of the run, and then we have GMs and senior managers and assistant managers, and then the executives. But my day, I start first with my quiet time, because if you are not well grounded with your quiet time, you just miss it. And I try now to get more sleep than I used to before. I used to sleep very late before, but I'm still trying. And nobody has a perfect routine, but we are getting there. So I have my quiet time. I just have my breakfast. My breakfast consists of just a cup of tea and a smoothie. That's what I first have. And then I try and get to the office for between 10 and 11. Before, I used to try and get there for 9. But after 60, I decided that I deserve the break. But so there are some departments that report to me, and then there are also some committee meetings we have. We have a finance committee meeting that we meet every week to determine how apportionment of funds and all that. And that has been in the last 1 year. Before that, the financial decisions were taken by myself and the DMD mostly, and then we just talk to the account manager. And we have a central executive committee, which is a strategy committee meeting that we talk about strategy. We have retreats and things like that. So my day-to-day is I get to the office. Of course, the departments that report to me, internal control reports to me. So I don't see everybody every day, no. There's some things, there's some paperwork as well that I need to do. Then there are some approvals that come to my desk. There are some other things, like, for instance, today we have a management performance. We had a management performance review. We do that every month, where we review our performance for the last month. We check, we look at where are we going? Did we do well? Did we not do well? But we get those reports every day. So we're not doing postmortem as such at the end of the month. We get the daily reports of how we are doing against targets, because we have set the targets. But so sometimes when we look at some of these things, we just call the person in charge. What's happening here? Why is this going south? Oh, you did very well here. This is really good. What have you done to make this huge jump? So there are things like that come out from those reports. There are some daily financial reports. There are some daily reports we have a department now called Data Hub. and they pull out a lot of data so that you also know how much the company is being owed, what is the receivable collection, things like that. And then we say, okay, we have an idea, okay, who can I intervene with, things like that. So there are some things that come up, like that. Like today, we had quite a fruitful meeting, and of course, when you are the visionary, you are not the only one that can make the decisions, but sometimes you'll be amazed about how some of the old tried and tested methods, you can bring some of them back and modify it to fit into today's world. So sometimes when we have those meetings, then if I have an idea, I'll put it forward. If somebody has an idea, then we'll support it and say, okay, let's go this way. So that's how it is.
Fantastic. So you start your day with a quiet time, because that grounds you, and that's the foundation that every other thing is piled on top of.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, thank you for sharing that. So will you say you're always, well, I'm going to mix this with a question somebody sent in. Sandra wants to know what your biggest challenge running a business in Nigeria is. And I would want to know, are you always in a productive state of mind? When those challenges come, how do you handle it? What do you do when something is threatening all the work that you have put together? Or maybe you get, life happens and you get news that is not so pleasant or unexpected, and is not on the positive side, right? So what do you do? How do you manage that? Please share with me.
Yes, well, now I handle the problems better. Before, I used to be a warrior, but after going into business, and I realized that all sorts of things were knock you left and right, I said that, you know what, just stay focused and you'll be fine. And that's the only way you think. But yes, what's the biggest challenge in terms of challenges? A lot of business owners will say finance. Yeah, finance sometimes when you want to expand. But I think we have a lot of human capacity problem in Nigeria as a whole when we interview for roles before we get the right person. So sometimes we have a role, it could be a critical role, vacant for some time because we're trying to get the right people and we can't get the right fit. Another thing also, still on the human thing, is conformity to our culture, because we are very big on culture. What is our own culture? Respect, excellence, our values, excellence, excellent customer service, excellent quality. We have quality control from our production facility to our warehouse. We have quality control measures, and then we have to be very, very focused on that and make sure that we stay true to our customers. And even when there are some bad customer challenges, yes, sometimes the customer challenges can be awful, especially when it's the wholesale. When it's wholesale, it involves millions. If an order is rejected or half an order is rejected, then you are in for a lot of trouble. But that sometimes it can be managed. Everybody, depends on your approach to the customer. You take responsibility for your own mistakes. That's number one. Number two is that the customer is always right. You try and find a workable way around it. And sometimes when we have to take the fall, or when we have to bear the entire cost, it happened once where we had to even tell the customer that, oh, this thing is definitely a problem which we had never envisaged. That please write us a rejection letter. We will send it back to where we got it from, and we had to take the fall. That was very hard. It gave us some sleepless nights because it was, let me just give you an idea, it was over 15 million. So this was some years ago, but we had to take the fall. But you see, when you are honorable, you get it back. And that school never left us. That customer never left us, because they just felt if we could fix the problem as bad as that, then we will do better.
They can trust you.
Yes, they can trust you. So that's what it is. Yes, funding too has been a problem, because sometimes you want to expand. You know that there's this is the way to go. Oh, I need to open more brick and mortar. I need to buy this technology, because we also want to automate. We've been constantly changing. I don't know, software number, what are we on now? Maybe 5. We've done all sorts of software changes, because we're always feeling that, oh, this cannot analyze everything we want. We want it to analyze up to when the customers come in. So technology, support of technology, internet connectivity and all that, that's one of the issues. Funding, yes, because you have a big project, and then they ask you that unless you have collateral, and your collateral only amounts to maybe a third of what what you need, and you are convinced, you've been in the business for such a long time, you are convinced that this will pay, but nobody is ready to put it all out there for you if it's not backed by collateral. So that's another area. Then expenses, operating expenses, especially power. For you to be efficient, power, you can imagine sometimes in the garment factory, we run day and night shift. So that means we are running the generators. Now the price of diesel has gone through the roof. It's a challenge. So, and then we have multiple locations. We have, for instance, in Lagos, we have Lekki, Ikota, we have Ikeja, Surulere is coming up soon. We have Port Harcourt, and we have 2 in Abuja. So those are the number of generators we are running. There's only one of those shops that is in a mall. Everything else, and then we have a head office that's in Bagada. We are running that. We are running the gen as well. So there are some operating expenses that we could have done without if our country had better infrastructure. So I hope I've answered all the questions.
Yes, one last part of the question. When these challenges happen and it seems like everything is coming at you at the same time, what do you do? How do you cope?
Well, I forgot to ask to mention one. Fraud happens from time to time. Before, the first one
part of the human capital issue.
But the first one shook me so badly. It was as if I was going to lose my mind. And after that, I decided that I will stand up and I will not lose my mind. And I made up my mind that I will not stop trusting people because it was the most trusted. So fraud comes up, every now and again, but it doesn't, you brood over it for maybe a day. You look at it, and what you try and do the most is to say, okay, this has happened. So how can we prevent it from happening again? So that's what we've done. So, and we don't jump to conclusions. We put CCTV everywhere. We have internal control. We expanded our internal control team, and we have disciplinary panel meetings just to get to the root of the matter, to find out where those loopholes are. And there will always be loopholes, and human beings will always find the loopholes, and they will always take advantage of it. That's for sure. So we sometimes it's been very hard, but like I said, after the first hard knock, I just tell God that, well, you brought me this far, you brought all of us this far, because we're all in it together with our team, and surely you will not leave us here, and that turn this around positively and learn from it. So the hard knocks come. Yeah.
Wow. So it's like if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, something like that.
Yes. So sometimes when some things happen now, I just say, oh, really? If it's not as, I don't dismiss it, but I just think, well, it's not going to break, it's not going to break the bank, or it's not going to make us close down in a shop. And then sometimes as a person, you have to make some hard decisions. We made some hard decisions a few years ago when we had to close a shop in Magodo. We had opened the store in Magodo, and there was a lot of resistance from the community that they didn't want the place to be commercial, and we didn't understand because there were so many schools around us. There was a school beside us, 3 doors away, and it was a commercial building, before we even rented it and all of that. It took some time, but when we realized that we're not getting anywhere with the retail, we converted it to another use, waited for the rent, to finish, and then we decided to close down that retail. And then we had to move the inventory to another of our stores on the mainland. So what did we do? We just thought, you know what? Let's cut our losses short. We had renovated the building and all of that. Let's cut our losses short, use it for something else. When it's time, just go, instead of just staying there. And then we told ourselves that we'll do our homework better next time before we go and open, in that kind of area.
Wow. We've done MBA now. We've gone to Wisdom University. I mean, the strength, it's It's remarkable. Well done. Well done, sis.
Thank you.
All right. So how do you take care of yourself? What's your self-care process? How do you rejuvenate your mind, your body? How do you keep yourself in such good shape? People can't see the rest of you, but I know. I know, and I know that you take good care of yourself. So how do you manage that? We are really eager to learn.
It's taken me a long time to get there. Before I used to bring work home, I'll be up on my laptop till 12. After getting home at 8 o'clock, one of the things I did in the last, maybe I would say 2 years, let me not take it too far, is I said that no laptop when I get home. Sometimes once in a blue moon, but not on a daily basis. So then I started looking at how can I relax? So I got involved in some series, and I'm the kind of person that when I watch TV, I watch it with my whole mind, and I'm like, no, don't put it at the edge of that table. No, you fall. So I get very involved, and I get transported into another world. Then, well, I'm a people's person. I'm a social person. I talk, I go out a lot, and I grew up in Lagos, so there's a lot to do. Pre-COVID, there were a lot of places to go to and all that. And then I love dancing. Once I hear music, I dance. I love dancing. And at church also, I've involved myself in a lot of work, and whatever I can do, wherever my skills or my natural flair is needed, like counseling and things like that. So I joined that so that, so that I have an all-round. Even within my community here where I live, I've served as the leader of the women's group for like 3 years, organizing maybe social social events and family-oriented events and all of that. Yes, I'm very social. I like going out. COVID was very hard for me to handle. Yes, it was very hard. Yes, I can see my sister saying that she's very social. Yes, I'm not shy about
many
that.
R's and many Y's.
Yes. So that's what it is. So that's how.
What about diet?
Sorry?
Diet.
What about
what
diet?
Do you eat?
Yes, diet. I've had to watch it, and you have to just study your body constitution, what goes with you and what does not go. And I'm the kind of person that can be very disciplined. If I know that this doesn't work, after I've tried and tested it, this doesn't work, then I'll know that, you know what, don't just bother. Don't do it anymore. Then I talk to a lot of doctors. My sister will testify that I've said, okay, how about this? And so I just try and look at what goes with me. Even eating late, I used to be able to eat at any time. But as you grow older as well, you know that you don't want to just risk some things. And then when they tell you that, for instance, eat low cholesterol diet, or you would have to just conform. So that's what I try to do. It's hard sometimes. I spoil myself sometimes. Sometimes I'll just say, okay, today is movie Friday. I'll eat popcorn, eat cake and tea, whatever. But generally, I try and keep it. And I eat a lot of fruits. I eat a lot of salads, just to balance my diet properly and not have too much carbs. So that's what it is. But that dancing, I think, is key.
It's full body exercise.
Yes.
Right. So dancing is key. Know your body, talk to professionals, ask questions, enlighten yourself, and know what works for you. And be disciplined, because you've mentioned that part as well. Be disciplined, because it can be hard to unlock those interesting meals sometimes. All right. So I want to know what fuels you. Are there coaches and mentors that you depend on to help you keep going, or it's all you and your quiet time? Or where does all this, the drive to do more and to be more and to enlarge and increase, where does that come from?
I would say God has gifted me with that. Because I do have mentors, but also some people will say your love language is some people have told me before that my love language is service. So long as I'm doing something that is of service to others,
I think they're right.
So I think I'm wired that way. And I realized over time that much as I refer to myself as a back office person, I'm the kind of person I can sit with an Excel spreadsheet and analyze it from today till tomorrow. Why is this like this? This profit is this one is down, this markup is this. I call myself a back office person. Marketing is not my strong skill. To go walk into an office and do a cold call, marketing is not my strong skill. But what I like best is being on the shop floor, helping people. Madam, what would you like? I mean, these are people that I'm sure they're the same age as my sons. Madam, what would you like? Oh, hello, darling. Come and try this. Oh, this is nice. Let them do this, and that. So, that I still have a passion for that. And I remember when I used to go on my purchasing trips, my last purchasing trip was, I think, maybe 2014. I used to get excited looking at nice things that I know that people would buy. You know, people will see it and they would want it. I used to get excited that, oh, you know, people will like this. I'm bringing it to their doorstep and things like that. I think that passion, that excitement is there because I also know that it's fulfilling a need, and that need, it keeps on. That need revolves all around, because now we're diversifying even our product offering in the store. So we're not just back to school. That's why we did a rebranding. Let me just talk about that. We did a rebranding to SKLD Integrated Services Ltd, because our name was too restrictive as School Kits. So even our retail is now rebranded to be called Skits. And in our retail outlets now, we have lifestyle products. In addition to school supplies, we have lifestyle products and office supplies. We've always done office supplies like paper, stationery, and all the whole pen, stationery, and all of that. But now, especially during COVID, we had started selling tabs, you know, just as for games for children. But during COVID, we realized that that's what was used for online learning. We went full swing, and now we actually sell laptops and printers and all of that. So we're diversifying our products, our retail product offering, and even some of our wholesale as well. Room care. I see somebody puts in, and she won't even look at it. Yes, if you want me to make a decision, anybody who works with me knows that if you want me to make a decision, you need to put it on an Excel spreadsheet. If you don't do it so that I can then analyze it and get back to you, I won't even. If you write something in prose, you're just wasting your time. I won't even look at it.
Wow. That gives you like a full view of everything. You can see a holistic picture on the Excel, on the spreadsheet, as against just one small footnote somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's part of knowing yourself. You see, I've had a fantastic time this evening. I think I'm just smiling and just beaming and just enjoying our gist. I still appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Finally, what do you think anyone who plans to be successful, who is interested in any form of success in any field of endeavor, what do they need to know? I mean, if anybody would forget everything we've talked about this evening, what's the one thing or several things that they must keep at the back of their minds and start put to use and start working on, start developing? Is it a skill? Is it a way of thinking? Is it a mindset? What do you want us to take away?
Well, to take away, whether it's in your career or if it's if you want to start a business, is for you to develop yourself in that area. Be hungry for knowledge, because I'm very hungry for knowledge. I still read a lot. I subscribe to some retail, some retail conferences so that I know what's going on, what are the trends. It's important for you to know, to be very current in your field, whether it's in your career and develop yourself. The world is not static, and it's important to be very tech savvy. Not all of us have a degree in computer science. I don't have one, but it's important for you to keep up with the times in terms of technology. It can only help you. But most important of all is this: what makes you happy? What makes you happy? Like the consultant that we called in to restructure, he asked me, he said, what do you want to get out of this exercise? You started the business. In truth, when I started the business, I can't tell you that I thought that it would last 20 years. I didn't even think whether it will stop or to continue. I didn't even think about continuity for in the first instance. And I said, I want the business to outlive me. Now, if you want your business to outlive you, that means you must put processes in place. That means you must carry people along. You must have able lieutenants. You must look for talent. You must know how to retain that talent. It's not just dishing things out to people, dishing instructions out to people. It's not about that. It's about asking them, for their input. Like I mentioned, the first retreat we had in 2007, I think we were a total of 10 members of staff, including me. And when I asked them to carve out, the facilitator asked them to write out vision and mission, what they came out with was far, far wider than what I would have ever said if I was asked to write it myself. And I was totally amazed. I was totally blown away. So also know what is your area of expertise. Don't be a copycat business. If you want to go into business, go do a lot of research. If you want to go into a particular area, whether it's for you to go up the corporate ladder or for you to expand your business or go into a particular business, look at what everybody is doing first in that area. Then, what is the unique selling point that you want to add to it? How do you want to differentiate yourself from those who are already in the business? Because most businesses exist somewhere or the other. So, and also, what are you adding to it? What's the extra thing that you're adding to it? How will people come to you? What is your marketing strategy? What is your price point? How will you not outprice yourself out of the market? And don't go undercutting other people. People have done that to me in the past. There were copycats who copied me, and then they went to undercut me in one of the schools where we're both supplying. But those are some of the storms we've weathered, and I just thought, you know what? Yes, it shook me a bit, and we quickly printed some flyers. Anybody who brings it to get a 10% discount. But I realized that at the end of the day, after some of those hurdles, if you place a high premium on your quality and your service excellence, and you do not deviate from it, you will have staying power. Those who enter the market after you, some of them will enter after you, and they will leave before you leave. Yeah. That's because they didn't focus on quality. They didn't focus on some things. So excellence is very key. Quality is very key for you to have staying power. But know what you're doing. And one of the things is that this is obviously my second career. I understand I'm about to be launched into my third career. They haven't told me yet, but I'm eagerly waiting. So it's something that you should be happy doing, because there will be the low periods. There'll be the low periods where it's just the passion that you have for the business that will make you wake up and say, you know what? Okay, instead of just looking at this law in the business as a disadvantage, why don't I use this to plan and do something better? Or what else can I use to fill this gap? And so on and so forth. So it's important that you like it. It's important that you enjoy what you do, and it means something to you. Will you miss it if you are not able to do it anymore? And how far are you willing to go to keep talent around you? It's not about only you eating out of the pie and then the next person to you down the organizational ladder is about 3 or 4 steps below you. It's not about that. It's about carrying people along and having a team that will even make it far, far better than you would have. So that's what I would say.
Wow. I told you guys you were here for wisdom. See, I wasn't the one who was going to deliver, but I brought someone who can deliver. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sis. Thank you for sharing with us this evening. I mean, Be hungry for knowledge. These are the final words. All of them are wrapped up into a tiny little bowl labeled final word. But be hungry for knowledge, develop yourself, stay on top of your game, develop yourself. Like I said, be tech savvy, keep up with the times. Don't say, I don't understand this technology. Learn, okay? Like I say,
Excellent.
you're not a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Move.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not a tree. Move. Make progress. Marginal progress on a consistent basis. You may not be able to jump, you may not be able to leap, but consistent improvement, at least 1% every day. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Sending loads of love and
Thank you.
gratitude. Be unique. What are you going to do differently? Do some research. Don't be follow. Don't do it because someone else is doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
the one that touched me the most, I mean, it's difficult in a survival-driven environment like Nigeria, but as much as possible, enjoy what you do. Do it for yourself. Will you miss it? If you step away from it, will you miss it? If it is just for money, after some time, that won't make any difference anymore. Because
Yeah.
that's how you can build a business that lasts for 21 years. 21 years is a whole lifetime, right? So, I mean, I'm so proud. I'm so proud of the work you've done since. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
sis,
much.
for everything that you do. And the humanitarian arm of the business, amazing, 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 amazing. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Last shoe. Thank you. Is there any other thing you want to say, ma'am?
Yes, there's somebody on this. I think it's Ronke Bukoye. I think
Yes.
she's on
Okay.
this. Is she there? I think she's the Ronke Adi. She's one of the pillars of our company. She stood by me when I went through one of the worst times in the company, and she's one of the reasons why I would say don't stop trusting people. Don't stop trusting people, because it was funny. Roka, if you don't mind, she left at a point, and she was my PA. She was also the head of HR. She left at a point, and it was sudden. And I said, "Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving?" She said, "Oh, she gave me some personal reasons, which I couldn't. She knew my soft spots, which I couldn't argue with." I said, "Okay, no problem." Then later on, I kept in touch with her. Sometimes I'll just send her a message, "Oh, I miss you." And then I wanted to travel at a point, and I called her and I said, "Are you around? Please, can you come? Can you come and sit in the office? Just, I'm going to Abuja. I would set up Abuja, and I don't want to leave the people here." Anyway, cut the long story short, she came. And it's that until today, I'm talking 2011, 2012, till today, we are still in touch. Till this day.
Wow.
She doesn't work with me anymore, but she stood by me when I almost, in fact, she came, and it was when she came that a lot of these things unfolded. And when you talk of loyalty, that is somebody who is a daughter to me. I cannot tell the story of the company without mentioning her name. And after we went through that whole period, I had to tell her, I said, "Well, this was meant to be temporary." Even my husband talked to her and said, "This was meant to be temporary." She said, "No, don't worry. Nobody needs to tell me that this is no longer temporary, and I have to stay with her until she finds her feet." And she did, before she went on to her own personal pursuits. But till this day, we are still in touch. And that's very important. Yoruba say "Omi leyan." You never know where you can meet somebody. She's somebody that I met. I think she came on board in October or September. By November, I said, "You know what? We're opening our head office. These are the funds. These are the architects. We looked at the plan. Go and execute it." And she executed it perfectly. So there are some rare people like that 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 you meet. And God help us to be able to recognize those kinds of people that will stand by you when it's the most difficult. Thank you, Ronke, for being who you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Ronke. Thank you. I'm clapping for you. I'm very grateful to you as well, because, like my sister said, this story won't be complete without you. So thank you. God bless you. Thank you. God bless all the works of your hands, the various things that you're involved in as well. Thank you so much for standing by all of us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ronke. Thank you. Thank you, sis. Sis has already made an another reference to what I'm about to say, that be kind to people. You never know. This world is rotating. So if it's facing you today, it might be backing you. That's poor grammar. My children are not nearby, so no problem.
Don't worry.
It might be backing you.
Your secret is safe.
I mean, it's important. We tend to, as human beings, because we are forgetful, we tend to lose sight of what is important. Sometimes people are important. They're important to God. Some people are getting better, but like Sister said, God help us to recognize those good people so that we can treat them well and reap the benefits of that relationship. Because if you don't treat them well, you won't get, because it's easy to say well done to Ronke, but I'm sure Sister too, she said you're an amazing I'm sure Sister too was fantastic to her, because this life is give and take, right? Thank you so much, sis. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us this evening. I'm going to watch this over and over and over again, because I'm sure there are some things in my excitement I must have missed. And I'm going to encourage anyone. It's going to stay on my page. Send it to somebody. Let somebody be challenged and motivated and enlightened by our conversation this evening. Thank you so much, Sister. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
For...
And thank you everyone for listening. I saw some names that I was amazed. Deshola, you really went far and wide. How did you do that?
And I did not do anything. I didn't expect her to get to be here, but she's here. Thank you, sis. I thought she would be at the office. But God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sis. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening, everyone. It was nice sharing with you. I love to mentor and I love to share my story. I feel that if I've made a mistake, I don't see why somebody else should make that same mistake. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. There will be another episode soon. I can't say next week. I'm not certain, but soon. Please follow this page so that you can get regular updates when we have another genius that will be sharing with us and encouraging us and enlightening us. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Rose.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Adesola. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, that's our show. I'm certain that someone has been motivated, has been encouraged by Ms. Adepetun's journey, starting a business at 40. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. But thank you so much all. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. And we will have another genius on the series very soon. And we will learn some more. We will learn systems. We will learn strategies some more. All right. Good night. Do have a good evening. Bye-bye.